Nobody expects a room full of world champions to stop and stare. These are people who have stood on Olympic podiums, held Formula One trophies, and broken world records in front of billions. They've seen everything. They've done everything. Getting their attention is one of the hardest things in the world. So, when every head in that room turns at the same moment, when every camera swings in the same direction without anyone calling action, you know something real just happened. That's what went down at the Laureus World Sports Awards in 2026. And if you think you caught the story from a headline or a short clip on your feed, you didn't. Not the real one. Not the one that actually matters. So let's go back to the beginning, because this story only makes sense if you understand what it cost to get to that room. Alex was born in Manila in May 2005, in a country that runs on sport but very specific sports. Basketball, boxing, weightlifting. The Philippines has built real international credibility in those disciplines over generations. But tennis? A world-class tennis player coming out of those islands wasn't something the global game was watching for. It wasn't on anyone's radar. It wasn't something the establishment was prepared to take seriously when it finally showed up. It showed up anyway. By the time Alex was 13 years old, she had earned a training spot at the Rafa Nadal Academy in Mallorca, Spain. And it's important to be precise here, because people throw around the phrase elite training environment like it's just a label. The Nadal Academy doesn't hand out places. You don't get in because you have a good story or because someone believed in your potential from across the room. You get in because your results demanded it, and you stay because your work ethic sustains it, day after day. Most junior players, even the genuinely gifted ones, cannot hold that standard at 13. Alex held it without flinching. The ITF junior titles came with a level of consistency that coaching alone cannot manufacture. That kind of relentlessness comes from somewhere internal, something deeply decided. Then, in 2022, at 17 years old, she walked into the US Open girls singles draw hard courts in New York, the most physically punishing surface in tennis, the most technically unforgiving stage in the junior game, and she walked out as champion, one of 4 Grand Slam junior titles, one at 17, on the hardest surface in the sport. The Philippines erupted in a way that went beyond sport. Because this wasn't a story about a girl from Southeast Asia who showed up, competed bravely, came close, and fell just short. She won. The social media traffic around her name after that result broke records for Filipino sports coverage. She wasn't just an athlete anymore. She became proof of something people had believed for years without being able to point to it. Then she turned professional, and the doubt arrived.
Let's go, Alex!
Hey, I'm Alex. I just finished my practice and come spend the day with me. Hello. Thank you.
Alex, look, Alex, your shirt. Hi, Alex.
You know, I've only dreamed of making tennis grow in the Philippines, and now I'm bringing a whole new audience to tennis all around the world.
Raise your hand if this is your first time at a tennis tournament. First time at a tennis tournament?
Yes.
Are you here because of Alex?
Yes. And she's humble and she works hard.
Humble.
Yes. That's why we like her, you know, because she's the face of the Philippines.
Just aside from her talent, she's also thinking of the future.
The Filipinos is we have such a strong sense of community.
This is the part of the story the tennis world often rushes past, and we're not going to do that, because what happened in those early professional years is the foundation for everything that came after. The jump from dominant junior to credible professional is where careers break, not bend. It has ended the trajectories of players who looked far more prepared than Alex at that stage, players with more resources, more experience, more of the support system the sport usually reserves for those it has already chosen to invest in. The main tour is a completely different world. Every opponent is exceptional. Many have been exceptional for longer than you've even been a professional. The margins are invisible to the outside world, but they are everything to the person living inside them. Alex struggled, and she was honest about it, which is its own kind of courage that rarely gets recognized. Her ranking slipped during stretches that tested everything she had. Early round losses started to stack up. The commentary followed, some of it sharp, some of it dismissive. That familiar strain of tennis punditry that mistakes a difficult phase for a final verdict began to take over. Some said she had plateaued. Others went further, suggesting her junior success wouldn't hold up against the demands of the professional tour. She didn't respond. No public pushback. No carefully crafted statements.
Believes that one drop of water can create waves. I mean, she's an inspiration for an entire nation and truly fights for every point to kind of spread that inspiration beyond tennis.
She does such a good job. She's a superstar, right?
Yeah.
And she handles that so well. Looks like she embraces it. She never seems to look too nervous, in my opinion. I feel like she likes when the Filipino crowds swarm the court. She shows them so much love, shows the world so much love. So it's nice to see a player so young and so talented as herself actually kind of handle all that pressure in such a positive way.
And then you think about what's her ceiling when it comes to all these different services, because we're still getting such a small delta of what we're able to see of Alex Eala, being that it's only her second year out here on tour. So like you said, getting more comfortable on the clay court surfaces. We're going to see her on the grass, and having more and more years out here on tour, that makes you feel more comfortable moving from hard courts that we just saw at any.
She just went back to work quietly, relentlessly on courts across 3 continents. Slowly, then, suddenly, the results began to shift. By 2024, she was pushing top 20 players deep into third sets on a regular basis. Her serve, already a major weapon, was being clocked at speeds that placed her among the hardest hitters on tour, regardless of age or ranking. Her movement improved. Her decision-making under pressure, the exact area critics had targeted, became sharper, clearer, more composed. Every time you watched her play closely. Then 2025 arrived, and the trajectory became undeniable. Wins over top 30 players. A ranking climb that placed her firmly inside the conversation, not just hovering around it. The tennis world adjusted its tone. Not quickly, not generously, but it adjusted. And through every moment of that grind, through the losses, the quiet periods, the criticism that sometimes crossed the line, the Filipino fan base never moved. That matters more than most people realize. Filipino fans travel. They fill stadiums in cities that have never hosted a Filipino athlete with this level of presence. They stay awake at impossible hours to watch matches played across European time zones.
Clay or hard court?
Hard court.
Forehand or backhand?
Backhand.
Would you rather win 6-love or after saving match points?
After saving match point.
Playing from the baseline or serve and volley?
I'm playing from the baseline.
Training session in the gym or on the court?
On the court.
Loud music or silence before the match?
Loud music.
Waking up early or sleeping in?
Sleeping in.
Spend the evening with Netflix or with reading a book?
Ooh, a little bit of both, but I'd say more Netflix. Yeah.
Text message or voice message?
Text message.
Instagram or TikTok?
Instagram.
In your free time, do you prefer dressing up or wear comfy clothes?
I think dressing up, yeah.
They bring color, energy, and a distinct identity to events that have historically been quiet and narrowly defined in atmosphere. Wherever Alex plays, the Philippine flag shows up courtside, in the stands, across social media feeds posted in the middle of the night. That connection between a young athlete and a fan base that believed before the results made belief logical. That's the invisible foundation beneath everything, including what happened at the Laureus Awards. The Laureus World Sports Awards, running since 2000, are as close as sport gets to an Oscars night. The 2026 edition brought together Formula One champions, football icons, Olympic gold medalists, one of the most decorated rooms imaginable in global sport. Alex was there as a rising figure in tennis. Not the headline name, not the central nominee. Just part of the wider world of elite competition gathered under one roof. She arrived wearing an ivory gown from a Filipino fashion house, and this is where the story turns. That choice wasn't accidental. It wasn't a stylist's safe decision or a routine brand alignment.
Thanks so much, Petch. Alex, great job out there today. First match in these high altitude conditions.
Yes.
How did it feel?
It felt great. I think the intensity was really high throughout the whole match, so I'm really happy to have been able to pull through. Yeah.
You were fantastic on your serve today. You won 76% first serve points, saved 5 out of 6 break points, so you put yourself in good position. What did you do particularly well on your service games?
I think that was one of the things going into the match that I really had to focus on was a good percentage of first serves. I know Anastasia is a big hitter, so I think that helped with my match today, and yeah, a lot of focus.
As you continue to play more on the clay, I know you seem to be very happy to be back on the clay. How was your relationship with the surface at the moment?
It's getting better every year. Okay. I think, you know, in general, I'm a better player this year now at this moment than I was last year. So I'm really confident with that. Yeah, I've had some struggles on clay before.
It was deliberate, personal, considered. In one of the most visible rooms in world sport, she chose to represent where she came from, not quietly, but unmistakably. The gown was floor-length, structured at the shoulders, fluid through the body. Ivory, not stark white, which gave it warmth and depth under the lights. On a red carpet filled with predictable luxury looks and global sponsorship statements, it stood apart completely. The wire photos went out before the ceremony even began. Within minutes, fashion editors across major global cities were tagging the images. Accounts started sharing, commenting, reacting, not just to the look, but to what it represented. Because in a room built on legacy, power, and recognition, something different had just entered the frame, and everyone noticed. Guys, thank you so much for watching my videos. Your support genuinely means everything.
And we got last year's semifinalist Alex Eala on our Cadillac desk. Congratulations.
Thank you.
3-set win, a comeback for you. She's a tricky player. What solutions were you able to find?
I think I had to be patient. Sorry, the match was so long I lost my voice. I think patience was key and waiting for the right moment, you know. Yeah, patience, a lot of patience.
We'll be patient with you. Some really long games, Alex. What are you looking to do and how do you stay focused when it's going do sad for so long?